The crypto market sold off hard in the last 24 hours, leaving many investors, perhaps yourself even, wondering, are we going to go lower? And is this bull market over? Even the stock market took a tumble, and it's all due to a Chinese AI project called DeepSeek. So right now you may be wondering, as I know many are, what is DeepSeek and why did the market react so negatively, both the crypto market and the stock market? Well, in today's show, I'll be giving you the scoop on what's going on, what happened, and why I'm actually personally not worried at all about this. In fact, this Chinese AI project may end up being the catalyst to catapult us and all crypto AI projects up to the next level. So if that sounds good to you, my name is Jessica and I'm so happy you're here today, and let's jump into what is going on in the world. Okay, so we're gonna start off with Bitcoin's chart as we always do. And as you would see on my screen, this may look devastating to you, but I'm here to tell you, don't be worried. And if anything, with this chart of Bitcoin holding on strong, I would say at 100,000 Bitcoin, to me, this speaks of the fact that, $100,000 Bitcoin is the new general market consensus floor and holding on strong standard of Bitcoin's value and price. Because as you would see, there was a huge sell-off. We were looking at like a $110,000 Bitcoin towards the end of last week. Today is Monday, of course, in Southeast Asia. So yeah, there was a pretty big correction, but you can see that even as it tried to dip below 100K, we bounced right back. So to me, this actually speaks of the strength in the market. And yeah, there was a sell-off, but we know that in large part, there is a chunk of people in the market, because it's composed of many different types of personalities and interests. This just represents those that sold off. You can call them weak hands, you can call them paper hands, whatever you want to call them. But the point is, people are going to take profits. And this just speaks of those that got scared. Maybe they're new in crypto, new in Bitcoin. They don't know what's going on, right? They just see the market is bleeding. They can't afford to lose that money. It's their savings money or their retirement money. They took profits. They tried to save their money. So to me, this actually speaks of Bitcoin's strength at $100,000. That's what it speaks to me, especially since we bounced back so quickly after dipping slightly below 100K. So anyway, let's keep moving on. There is not very much to say regarding the Bitcoin ETFs yet, because of course, as I said a moment ago, we're just looking at Monday morning. In the next couple hours, most likely by the time this video is released, it will be opening of the stock market on the East Coast. So we'll see the way the day plays out. But as of now, we just don't have any data to report on the Bitcoin ETF inflows. But if we were to take a look at the general crypto market, I actually love this tool by Ran Nooner's team, Crypto Banter's team, and it's so visual. I'm a highly visual person. It helps me to see things and what they mean at the same time. And you would see here that the market in general, there's a lot more red, even though the green bubbles are larger. So that helped. But the market has been correcting. We know there was a decent correction across all, we're talking all blue chips, meme coins, everything took, you could call it a hit or a correction. To me, it's like the market taking a deep breath. It happens, but what happens shortly after a correction, as I've said in multiple shows, and will continue to say, what happens right after a correction is what actually speaks to strength. It speaks of what's really going on. So we'll see the way today unfolds for you guys in the US and what I wake up to tomorrow here in Southeast Asia. Moving on, as you can see on my screen here, this is Arthur Hayes, a decently big thought leader in the crypto space, former co-founder of BitMEX, which was a very successful crypto exchange in the early days before my time. Anyway, now he has a blog, a famous blog you may want to go check out. And you can just go follow his X account and go read more about it. But I guess he's working on a series of essays that he's calling The Ugly. And I guess based off of this new sort of you can call it a black swan, or maybe it's a hybrid, a black swan, a white swan, which I coined the white swan. I think it's a combination of black swan meets white swan event. And if you don't know what a black swan or a white swan event means, it basically just means think of, all the most unlikely things that could happen at the very same time, and how if they were to happen at the very same time, the type of results that they would bring about in the market or in life. So we all know, and this is what we're going to get into here in a second. Today's a light show, so I think you might appreciate this, but we know that there was this whole Chinese AI new open source, actually open source, even though OpenAI said they were going to be open source. This is why Elon Musk is suing Sam Altman, because he was an early investor. You know, it affected his terms, and it was not the, you know, he was aligned, Elon Musk was aligned with the ethos of open source technology. But anyway, that's a separate conversation we'll talk about later if you want. That said, DeepSeek came to the market, came to the world over the weekend, which is very sneaky, by the way, because the market is like half asleep on the weekend, unless you're in crypto, because crypto never sleeps. So anyway, they released their AI project, DeepSeek, and it's this AI open sourced model. And apparently, although if you go do some research and watch some interviews, just search, you know, interview founder DeepSeek, you'll find that the way they announced the publication, which is PR for you, right? Can't believe everything you read. The way they announced it was that, oh, this revolutionary DeepSeek open source AI project company, you know, didn't even need the expensive GPUs from NVIDIA. They did it with a team of under 200 people. They did it in, 2 months for so cheap. Oh my gosh. And it's not accurate, because if you go watch the interview from the founder, you would see that he openly admits that they had so many of NVIDIA's GPU chips. Mind you, they may be older versions, but it doesn't matter. They had them. And so it's not correct to say, and also you don't know, right? PR is PR. I'm not trying to hate on PR, but they'll only say what they say, and it's not always true. Things are painted in the best way, for the best results. So Arthur Hayes is now saying that based on what has recently happened, he is now calling for a 70,000 to a 75,000 correction, not a $75,000 Bitcoin, a 75,000 correction to Bitcoin, which would be worse, right? And bring Bitcoin down to like 25, 30K, which I don't believe. And I even questioned sharing this tweet with you, because I understand the power of the media and the power that I have, even though my audience on my channel isn't so big yet, but I love you guys for being here. But the reason I'm sharing it with you is because I like to share pros and cons, both sides of the coins. I believe in Bitcoin, and if you're here, then I imagine you understand Bitcoin's fundamental value being that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. It's uncensored, it's completely decentralized, it's immutable, meaning no one can alter the numbers the way sometimes happens in companies behind the scenes. They change numbers in the accounting books. Bitcoin is pure, it's decentralized, doesn't belong to anybody. It actually brings the world together, as we're seeing, and we will continue to see, because it's in everyone's best interest to protect the mining facilities all over the world, and it's in everyone's best interest to own as much Bitcoin as possible, because if they do, then we collectively drive the price higher as we buy more, and therefore removes more supply for the market. So I know I'm probably preaching to the choir here. If you're here, then you probably know a significant amount already about crypto and Bitcoin and the way it works. But once again, why I share this tweet with you from Arthur Hayes is for perspective, and so you're aware of the major conversations going on in the crypto world and in the world at large, so you just know, like, knowledge is not power, but knowledge is potential power, depending on how you apply it and act on it. And in order to know how to act on it, you just need to know, like, you need to know all the pieces on the chessboard in order to make the right move. And then from there, you assume you trust yourself, and you have experience, and you don't take big moves and big risk when you don't know a lot, unless it's money you can afford to lose, in which case that's a different category of investing. So anyway, we'll move on. This is what Arthur Hayes is saying. I can't say I believe this or agree, but let's go read the blog. So I would encourage you to go do your own research, as you always have to do in this world and in our life. Let's go read about it. So I'll read about it, and I'll get back to you on what it says. He's publishing it tomorrow morning. But what he does say, and he does wrap it up by saying that this will be a correction, and that from here, this should send Bitcoin off to 250. It could go higher, guys. We have a lot of data pointing to Bitcoin being at anywhere between like a $300,000 to a $500,000 Bitcoin this cycle, and up to $1 million in the next, I don't know, decade or so or more. Michael Saylor himself has said he projects one Bitcoin to be worth up to $13 million in the next however long he said, 20 years or so. That said, what else is affecting the world is the FOMC announcement that's going to be coming up this week. And this always affects the market. And as of now, this is by Elite Options Trader account on X. They give us a few takeaways that we all need to think about. So I wanted to share these with you so you have them in the back of your mind and you're thinking about them, because it's important to learn from other people's mistakes as much as possible. Don't make your own mistakes. Outsource your mistakes to others. Just saying. But this is what Elite Options Trader says. They say 80% of traders lose some money, oh my God, on FOMC weeks. If you want to be on the right side of the trade, read below. So they say, number one, the real trend always occurs on Thursday after the FOMC. Wait for this day to take a normal size trade. So don't trade on the day. Trade on Thursday, guys. You're just like setting yourselves up to fail if you are. Remember, it's important to know how to sit on your hands and do nothing in life as well. 2, size your positions down to at least 50% to account for the volatility before Thursday. So don't go all in. Don't go balls to the wall. Excuse my language. Know yourself. It's important to know yourself in this life and cut your trade in half. Just be safe. Half of how you make money as an investor is just not losing it. That was one of the biggest lessons I've learned, and I continue to learn this more and more, or learn methods and ways of protecting myself from myself, basically. 3, focus on sector leading stocks. Don't chase rotation or random tickers. These stocks have the best predictability for direction. So this is obviously for traditional stocks, but the same mentality goes for crypto. So stick to the leading ones. Don't go venture off. Your friend told you about some random meme coin. Oh my gosh, it's going to go to the moon. No, don't do that. Love your friends, but follow the money. That's the way to do it. And so you want to follow and buy into the biggest one. So if you do have some dry powder or extra liquidity or stable coin, USDT or USDC that, from your day job or your actual career that you do, it could be right now is a good time to buy. And we have everything on sale. Basically, everything is discounted. Number 4, SPX premiums are priced at 3 times for Wednesday. So expect to see 60 to 80 point move minimum. Don't get caught off guard by the volatility. So don't get scared by the waves, basically. Okay. And then by Miles, who's a really, really great thought leader. It's really been amazing to see him grow. I think he got into crypto like a year before me, but also has his own YouTube channel and is really good with his perspective on everything and experience. He says, so if stocks are already in panic mode, is Jerome Powell really going to come out super hawkish? Is he really going to come out and just say we can't cut interest rates, or he's going to hike them up, right? He goes on to say, right as Trump has entered office, he goes, I don't know. He says he might need to come out and soften things a bit. My prediction, he says, is that the pre-FOMC sell-off marks the bottom, the local bottom. So this week, basically the next couple days, right, leading up to Wednesday, so the next 2 to 3 days, depending on when you're seeing this video, expect some turbulence and volatility in the market. Part of the ride. It's not smooth sailing. It's part of the ride. And this is what you accept when you get into crypto and when you get into owning your own finances. You accept the ups and the downs and the throwing up and the crying. And, you accept all these things and being scammed possibly. And then you also accept it's never going to happen to you again. And you just keep going and you keep improving every day. And then by Holger, I cannot say this last name, Zachapitz on X. Now we're going to start talking about DeepSeek. Okay. And the implication it actually has on the crypto market. We're almost there, guys. Bear with me. And he goes on to say basically that DeepSeek and the revelation of DeepSeek and its coming to market could really represent the biggest threat to U.S. equities companies. Because apparently, and don't take this verbatim, okay, just because you see it on my screen here, telling you because I did more research. I'm just sharing with you what even top thinkers, they only know what they know until they know more. They only know what they know at that moment. So I guess at the moment of this tweet, they were saying, and this has been a major conversation, which is why I'm sharing it with you, is they're saying that apparently DeepSeek, right, they were able to create this groundbreaking AI model at an extremely low price without having access to cutting edge chips, calling into question the utility of hundreds of billions worth of CapEx being poured into this industry. So really, and this is their website, you can go sign up. It's for free. You can go play with the model. I'll do it later. It's just chat.deepseek.com. And then backslash, or you can find it on your own, sign in. But going back to what we were reading a moment ago, like the real question, and we'll get into this in a second, is that the underpinning or underlining question for the whole entire NASDAQ, all the publicly listed companies and all the top investors that are investing in AI. Like right now, the craze is all about AI, right? That's why NVIDIA is virtually the top leading company on the NASDAQ, is that there's been this thought or this idea that you had to invest so much money, as Mark Zuckerberg has said, as Sam Altman, they've all said and been justifying their huge investments into AI startups because it's been this elusive sort of unicorn everyone's chasing, and it's so expensive. You just have to keep pouring money on it, and you don't know. It's like this black box. You don't know what's in there, but you have to just throw money at it and it'll grow, right? And no one understands it, like most leading technology, which is why I even have my channel, because I hope to explain things to you along the way. Anyway, so now with DeepSeek coming out and being like, surprise, we did it for a fraction of the money that all of you guys have been pouring into AI. And look, we're better and we're actually open source and all, it shook the whole market, crypto market, traditional market. Like I can't wait to see what the new conversations are going to be like once I wake up in a few hours, because it is almost midnight my time here. But as you can see on my screen here, like virtually all of the top chip stocks for AI reacted and took a hit, but not even so much. But I understand that, even just a few percentages. I'm not in traditional stocks, but these sort of drops, 5.3%, 4.9, et cetera, this doesn't scare me. This is so normal in the crypto space, but maybe in the traditional finance world, these drops are scary. Like Intel dropped -2 points. Like this to me is not scary at all. But what is, I guess, is because there's so much more volume, there's so much more money in traditional stocks. According to Kobesi Letters, which is where I'm getting this information from right now, they said that U.S. markets are on track to erase over $1 trillion of market cap in Monday's session. All of this as earnings, tariffs, and the federal meeting are in the spotlight. Gonna be another wild week, guys. Very fun. Just hang tight. Tune into my channel every day. I will come to you with what's going on, so you know what to do. And as we can see here by Morgan Brown, they hone in on this and they go, let me break down why DeepSeek's AI innovations are blowing people's minds and possibly threatening NVIDIA's $2 trillion market cap. This is just the market, dog eat dog. You might think you're at the top. This is why you have to stay on your A game all the time, at the bleeding edge of everything, because you don't know who's about to come disrupt you. And this is just crazy to me. Like if we zoom out and away from our investments and our money at stake, so we're freaking out because it's our real money, and we take that aside and then we just look at the last week that we had, where we just got our first Bitcoin crypto president in the world, in light of the Russia-Ukraine war, and then, China over here, just they were frothing at the mouth. They were so jealous and mad that the US got an incredible president. And so they just had to do something, you can just see all the conversations behind the scenes, it's wow, this is so wild in light of what's going on in the world. It really just speaks to the fact we really have turned a page in humanity's history, and it's awesome. So if we keep reading here by Morgan Brown, they say, first, some context. Right now, training top AI models is insanely expensive. We keep hearing this. OpenAI, Anthropic, etc., spending $100 million plus just on one compute. They need massive data centers with thousands of 40K GPUs. It's like needing a whole power plant to run a factory. But then we have DeepSeek just showed up. It said, LOL, what if we did this for $5 million instead? And they just didn't talk. They actually didn't. Their models match or beat GPT-4 and Claude on many tasks. The AI world is, as my teenagers say, shook. How? They rethought everything from the ground up. Traditional AI is like writing every number with 32 decimal places. DeepSeek was like, what if we just use 8? It's still accurate enough. Boom, 75% less memory needed. Oh my God. This is so it. Anyway, then their multi-token system. Normal AI reads like a first grader. The cat, sat, etc., DeepSeek reads in a whole new phrase at once. 2 times faster, 90% is accurate. When you're processing billions of words, this matters. But here's the real clever bit. They built an expert system. Instead of one massive AI trying to know everything, like having one person be a doctor, a lawyer, and engineer, they have specialized experts that only wake up when needed. They compartmentalized their system. Traditional models, all 1.8 trillion parameters active all the time. But DeepSeek, 671 billion total, but only 37 billion active at once. It's like having a huge team, but only calling in the experts you actually need for each task. The results are mind-blowing. Training costs are from 100 million up to 5 million. GPUs needed 100,000 to 2,000. API cost 95% cheaper, can run on gaming GPUs instead of data center hardware. But wait, you might say, there must be a catch. That's the wild part. It's all open source, guys. So awesome. Anyone can check their work. The code is public. The technical papers explain everything. It's not magic. It's just incredibly clever engineering. Why does this matter? Because it breaks the model of only huge tech companies can play with in AI. You don't need $1 billion data center anymore. A few good GPUs might do it. So in conclusion, for NVIDIA, this is scary. Their entire business model is built on selling super expensive GPUs with 90% margins. If everyone can suddenly do AI with regular gaming GPUs, ... well, you see the problem. So he goes on and on to say, and the kicker is they did it with under 200 people. Meanwhile, Meta has a whole team whose compensation alone exceeds DeepSeek's entire training budget. And then this is the important part, right? So this is the classic disruption story, as I was saying. Incumbents optimize existing processes, while disruptors rethink the fundamental approach. DeepSeek asked, what if we just did this smarter instead of throwing more hardware and money at it? I'll add. The implications are huge. AI developments become more accessible. Competition increases dramatically. The moats of being big tech companies look more like puddles. Hardware requirements and costs plummet. And of course, giants like OpenAI and Anthropic won't stand still. They're probably still implementing these innovations, but the efficiency genie is out of the bottle. There's no going back to the just throw more GPUs at it approach. Final thought. This feels like one of those moments we'll look back on as an inflection point, like when PCs made mainframes less relevant, or when cloud computing changed everything. AI is about to become a lot more accessible, a lot less expensive, and the question isn't if this will disrupt the current players, but how fast. Oh my gosh, crazy. And yes, this is all available on open source. You can literally try their models right now. We're living in wild times. I agree. Guys, that is so awesome. And then we have Kobesi Letters again honing in on this. They did it under 2 months for less than 100 million, and it's now the #1 app. It's the #1 app on the App Store. And on top of it, it was built with outdated chips and a small team. Meanwhile, the US is pouring 500 billion into AI. But this doesn't mute Donald Trump's initiative with Sam Altman or Larry Ellison or Massa. If anything, thank God this is coming out now, because you know what Trump is going to do as a businessman and what these other men are going to, the other CEOs are going to do instinctually is they're all it's like 911 right now in the companies. Like you can just, I've been through 911 situations as a founder myself, and it's like all hands on deck, they're all scrambling. And if anything, this is good news, because now they're going to put those $500 billion, they're going to put them to work more intelligently. Now they're going to go reinvent on DeepSeek's model. They're going to implement that into OpenAI, and these $500 billion, which were only committed, it wasn't paid up all up front. It's going to be in tiers, like in real estate, right? They're going to just have, this money's going to go further now. This is actually very good news that, before the money was deployed and put to work, they're having this aha moment, eureka sort of black swan meets white swan event where they're rethinking, they're going to have to rethink how they put this money to work. So it's awesome. They pretty much save themselves money. So thank you, China. And as ZA Stocks put it here, guys, we're almost done with the video. They say, they take the second look. It's like what I was telling you earlier about how I don't think DeepSeek was very transparent or completely honest in how they, you know, were able to produce this magic on such a low budget and without chips. Even though they did say they had some, I think in some of the original publications, they didn't, it wasn't so like openly stated. Anyway, let's read about this. It says DeepSeek, I'm not buying it. Yes, they have a great model, but the cost just doesn't add up. You can't even buy a beachfront home in California for $6 million. But apparently the trustworthy CCP built a better LLM than Meta for that price. China has a strong history, and this is true. I'm not trying to talk bad about China, but it's true. China has a long history of lying about technological advancements, so it wouldn't surprise me if this was the latest example of CCP trying to act like they're ahead of the world. It's PR, guys. Am I denying that it can probably be done for cheaper than we're seeing right now? No, it probably can, but this is not new information. Zuckerberg and Sundar both admitted to overspending on AI. They both agreed they'd rather overspend than underspend on the technology, and it's clear the other big tech CEOs agree. LLMs aren't the final boss of AI. Having the best LLM isn't the goal of these big tech companies. They want more. Robots, autonomous cars, AI agents, etc. There's much bigger fish than having the best LLM. If DeepSeek has the best LLM, cool. But it wasn't done for $6 million. There's NVIDIA's chip export restrictions limiting the amount of GPUs China can get. There's no shot they'll admit to the actual cost of the LLM. I agree with this. They're not gonna, like, why would they tell us how much it actually cost them? Like, it's not in their best interest. Like, of course, they're gonna pick the lowest number possible because it wouldn't add up with the limited technology they're able to access legally, right? So there's like whole huge gray areas in their logic. DeepSeek is cool, but I don't think it's going to crash the American stock market. A dip? Yes. If anything, I think we could get some buying opportunities if there isn't any persisting selling. I'll bet on American technology prevailing over any other country any day of the week and twice on Sundays, for sure. So I agree with, and I already shared a lot of these concerns and points I had, but it's true. They're not they're just not, like, I'm not a mind reader, so I'll stop on this, but right, there is a track record. Next, this is what actually benefits us and what actually matters to us in crypto AI, especially those of you holding any of the AI projects I've been talking about or AI agent coins. This is by Diamond Hands Dig on X, and they say DeepSeek is a net positive for AI crypto coins. Guys, this is the part that is so important. It reduces operating costs across the board. And if equities keep going down, it increases the likelihood of Powell printing money or cutting interest rates, right? So it actually comes at a very interesting, good time, both of which would also be favorable for AI crypto coins, right? Because if they cut interest rates, then it motivates more people to do more business, take more loans out, invest more. So that money ends up trickling into crypto somehow. If not only the morale and the spirit of doing business affects the crypto market. And then if the government ends up having to print more money, even though it's bad for us in the long run, because inflation is already such a huge problem, for the meantime, we have a current problem that the government has to address as they're working on the backup long-term plan in the background. And that will involve printing money. It just will, which will be new liquidity, new money into the market. And a lot of that will end up once again trickling its way into crypto. So overall, it's a good thing. And it's going to reduce costs across the board for AI crypto tokens, because what do you think all the AI crypto tokens are going to do? If they're smart, they're going to go leverage this free open source model just released to them for free by DeepSeek. So you can project and see an improvement across all AI crypto projects across the board. So this is actually really great for us in crypto AI tokens. Next, DeepSeek just accelerated all timelines. This is by Ajaz, CryptoPunk 7213 on X. They say, we were settling into the fact that this stuff was just going to cost $100 billion to build, right? That was going to be the closed source. Monopolized. And then DeepSeek outperformed all leading models at a fraction of the cost and open sourced the tech. Now, any AI builder has access, as I was saying a moment ago, to the most powerful model No one is talking about how we'll see much better agents, even though I just said it. Fat app thesis just got more real. This is great for open source AI. This is fantastic, guys. The market hasn't even priced this in yet. Because once again, those that are cashing out on Bitcoin right now are those that need the money. And I'm not blaming them, but they don't represent the true diamond hand believers of the crypto space or longtime holders and investors. Which is like, let's just wait for the dust to settle. This week is going to be turbulent. But after Thursday, Friday, I suspect we end the week strong again. And who knows, Bitcoin may surprise us in the morning. Everyone is gonna, because remember, like the world sleeps at different times. So, the US is just waking up, and you don't think diamond hand investors in the US are gonna see, oh, Bitcoin's on sale, let me go buy. I think they are, but we'll see what happens. And then we have perspective here from altcoins saying, and showing us this chart. Altcoin's a fantastic channel as well. And they just made it very clear and simple for us with big red numbers on the screen, pointing out all the times in all the bull runs that we've seen 38, 38, 33, 38, 36, 29% corrections as the market keeps moving up. So this is just one of them. There's always like, how many? Like 2 or 3 or something? Always. Very normal, guys. And then we have Alex Kruger here on X saying, the endorsement of the President of the United States and a clear, friendly regulatory environment will generate seismic changes in the crypto industry, institutional adoption. Banks, Fortune 500 companies, and government agencies will start using blockchain for payments and tokenization efforts. And you guys heard this, right? This is old news, sort of. Over the weekend, Eric Trump talked about, or did like a soft announcement about how capital gains were not going to be taxed for American-based crypto projects. This is huge. This is like so huge. Go do your research. You probably already heard, but this is enormous. I mean, to a point where we're considering spending more time in the US. I was having to think about renouncing my US citizenship and all these things. And now, thank goodness, thank God, actually, it doesn't seem like it's such a problem anymore. It looks like the US is welcoming us back. Anyways, keep reading on. According to Alex Kruger, he says, there will be legitimacy for retail. The general public, who might currently see crypto as risky or even as a scam, will start viewing crypto more positively. Global ripple effect. Other countries could follow suit, aiming to align their policies with the US. Yep, this is why Bitcoin brings everyone together, as I was saying earlier. And we can expect an explosion of innovation. Regulatory clarity will encourage developers and leading entrepreneurs to build without fear of lawsuits or shutdowns, leading to new applications. Zero chance this is priced in on week 1. Right, because it's just too much to intake. Like, how many of you live listening to the news all day, like I do? Like, not very many people can do that because you have to work and you have a life, right? This is what I do now. This is my life right now. So it's just impossible to know everything that's going on unless you have a researcher that gives you bullet points every day. But the market just doesn't know. And the market is erratic and composed of real people with real fears and their real money on the line. And so the market is a reflection of us all. But anyway, guys, it's an exciting week. All in all, I expect AI agent tokens to be pumping, to be doing very well, to be getting more efficient, more amazing, cheaper. And you can expect just real healthy competition in the market, in the AI space. So you can just really expect more amazingness happening every day in the market. So stay ready, stay plugged in, and I will catch you guys here tomorrow. Happy New Week, everyone. Bye.